Hello and welcome to Calvary Chapel Daily Devotions. Today starts a new series. I might entitle it, He is Alive. It's about the resurrection of Jesus and who did he appear to on this earth before he ascended into heaven. So we know from Scripture he was on earth for 40 days after he rose from the dead and defeated our number one enemy. And so today is going to be a little bit more background than actual details. Specifically about who did he appear to first. But I'm going to read from one of my study Bibles, and it's actually the sequence of events that happens the very first morning after Jesus rises from the dead. So Resurrection Sunday, if you will. And let me read from my study Bible. It says, combining the four narratives of the Gospels, the order of events on the resurrection morning would seem to be as follows. And I'm going to give scripture references as we go, so be ready to write. In the early morning, the women went to the sepulchre, or the grave, the tomb, of Jesus to anoint his body, even though they did not know how they could get into the sepulchre. Reference, Mark chapter 16, verses 2 and 3. There were three, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, reference, Mark 16:1, Luke 24:10, and Salome. So three women, followed by other women who had accompanied Jesus from Galilee. Reference, Luke 23, verse 55 through Luke chapter 24, verse 1. The three women found the stone had been removed by an angel. Reference, Mark 28:2. Mary Magdalene hurried to tell Peter and John, who ran toward the sepulchre. Reference, John chapter 20, verses 2 through 4. Meanwhile, Mary, the mother of James, Salome, and then the other women arrived at the tomb, entered it, and saw angels who assured them Jesus had risen. They ran from the tomb in fear and in joy to inform his disciples. Reference, Matthew chapter 28, verse 8. Peter and John arrived at the tomb, entered, observed, and left. Reference, John chapter 20, verses 4 through 10. Mary Magdalene returned to the sepulchre, stood weeping, and Jesus revealed himself to her. Reference, John chapter 20, verses 11 through 18. As the other women were on their way to tell the disciples, Jesus appeared to them. Reference, Matthew chapter 28, verses 9 and 10. So that's a snapshot of what it could have looked like the very first Resurrection Sunday. So since we have four Gospels, four different accounts, four different views even, we have to paste them together to get the full story. So that's what it could look like as we look at the harmony of the Gospels on this very first Sunday of resurrection, Jesus himself rising from the dead. And by the way, it's interesting for me that every year we go through Good Friday, we think about Jesus going to the cross and how he suffered and he bled on our behalf. And it's almost like every year in our mind sometimes we can say, well, he's been dead now for 3 days, and then Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday comes along, now he's alive again. So we need to be reminded, no. Jesus died once for all, a couple thousand years ago. And he's been alive and in charge and in control, majesty himself since then, seated on his throne. And, Scripture says that he's waiting now for his Father to make the world his footstool. We also see Scripture saying that in this age, the church age, the age of grace, we're waiting for one last Gentile to be saved. And then I believe that the church will be removed. Some would call that the rapture, and then things will happen from there. But the main point I wanted to make today is Jesus is alive. He's been alive throughout, only died one time, defeated death for us. And he's in charge, he's in control, and we can trust him. So I hope that I didn't speak too fast. You were able to take notes, do a little bit of study. And tomorrow, Lord willing, we'll focus in a little bit more on Mary Magdalene, whom Jesus appears to first. Isn't that interesting? So be blessed. I pray that you're healthy and happy. If you need to chat or if you need some help, please give me a call. WhatsApp me, connect with me somehow. And I'm always ready and excited to hear from you. And so until next time, God bless.